Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Raw Cloud. Today's video, I wanted to kind of do something special for the mothers. Whether you are a single mom, whether you are in a relationship, whether you are married, I like to say, first of all, Happy Mother's Day to you. And for those that don't have children, have pets, or have um, nieces, nephews that you take care of, well, they're almost just like your children too. So to you, also, happy Mother's Day. Now, today I wanted to do something a little bit fun, for everyone. And first, let's just say before I begin with this, understand that we are multidimensional spiritual beings and we exist on a multidimensional level. And of course, we all have relationships in our current lifetime. And as a co-collective, we have agreed upon, you know, human rules like when we get married, you know, um, we don't fool around, um, or if you are single, that really, don't apply. But we all co-create under certain circumstances when it comes to relationship and marriage. Now, this does not apply in other timelines because in our current life, we may be married, but and you may be in a relationship, but you go off in other timelines that you experience other relationships, other life. And this current life is put on a standby when you go off and astral travel to these other realms where you exist as a multidimensional being and experience. You may not be in a relationship there. You may be single on the other side and you go off into these other realities and experience um, dating. You experience, you know, you may be married to someone else on that other side. And it's okay because God created us to learn through these experiences on a multidimensional level. So today, I want all of your inhibitions to be gone. And I want you guys to experience fun on a multidimensional level. And know that it is okay that if you are going off in these other realities and experiencing, other lives that you have over there, whether it be single, married, or in a relationship, it's okay because God created you to be a multidimensional being. So today, do not get mad at your partner for experiencing these other realities. It is on a co-collective spiritual level that we do this so that we learn from. So I wanted to dedicate this to everyone that are going off and experiencing these other timelines, these other realities. So, and if you are doing having these experiences and you are coming back with that information, guys, leave that down in the comment section. So I'll begin with mine. Um, this is just for fun. Okay. Now, I haven't recently gone on to the other side and experienced this type of life, but I'm gonna bring up the time that I used to go and have these experiences like all the time. And so I would be in my apartment on the other side, and I would be single in that timeline. And I would, remember, going through my phone and trying to meet, you know, available uh, girls on the other side. Um, and it was just, fun for me to try and date and see, you know, available single ladies on that side. And I remember, meeting um, girls using this app. And, we would just talk and communicate and, you know, get caught up with each other, you know. Now, when you're doing and having these experiences, just know that you don't have to feel bad about having these other realities over there, whether you're a female or whether you're a male. Is like I said, it's because you are a multi-dimensional being, and there are like thousands of versions of yourself. So there is no need to feel bad about it. There is no need to be jealous if your partner, whether it be a male or female that you are married to, don't get upset with that partner for going off in these other realities and experiencing uh, these other lives. Because I've had um, experience where I'm in, other relationships uh, on the other side. And I know this person not from this timeline, but from that timeline, that experience. And you would intuitively know that this person is your partner, whether um, and the thing about it is you would bring this information back with you, and sometimes you won't even share it with your other partner on this side is because they may not understand. And if they don't understand and they can't handle it, then I advise you, if they're not spiritually caught up with you, then just don't, share that part with you, because everybody has their own level of catching up with you. If you are a spiritual um, warrior, if you are a spiritual light worker, and you understand this concept of how the soul works on a multi-dimensional level, then, and your partner don't, then don't I would not advise sharing this information if they are not spiritually inclined or in tune with you, because they too have other relationships on the other side as a multi-dimensional being. So, that's just one thing I wanted to share with you guys, is that you could be single here, but be in a marriage and very happy on the other side, in another timeline. You could be not so happy here, but experiencing being happy and thriving on the other side. And it could be vice versa. You can be in a bad relationship on the other side, but experiencing a good relationship and, you know, being loving and just getting everything you need out of life, here. And like I said, it's not don't look at it as good or bad. Just look at it as experience that God has given us as a multidimensional being, to have these other timelines that we can go off and experience other life. So, you know, like I said, when you're doing this and going through these timelines, throw all that inhibition out the way, throw all of that control system out of the way that we have here, and experience these other lives that you have on the other side. Uh, now, okay, now let's talk about something else. I wanted to talk about, also dedicate this to, my mother. You know, my mom is now passed away, and she is, like I said, a multi-dimensional being as well. So I go off into these other realms and other realities where she is currently, still alive. And I remember the day my mom passed away. I'm not going to get into like the whole story because it is kind of long. Maybe I'll do that some other time. But I remember, you know, a month before my mom passed away, I remember sitting on the side of my bed in my apartment um, and asking God that if and when it was time for her to go, that I be present because I wanted to see her off. So the day that my mom went, I got off from work uh, around 7 that morning, and right when I got home and I parked the car in the parking lot, um, I started having this telepathic communication, and it was so strong, and I couldn't really connect with the information. I thought that my mind was being invaded, but the communication was being handled between my higher self and my mother higher self, which I did not know at the time. So, and it was so strong, I really thought that someone was taking over my mind. So I went upstairs and, I started speaking to my wife about this, and she didn't know what to do. She's not at that level of understanding, um, this stuff. She's not. We're not really in sequence when it comes to spirituality um, of what I do. So, and that's okay. Everybody has their own level of, you know, their own path, and I'm okay with that. So I went into my kid's room because my son, I've been teaching him how to um, he has a lot of knowledge that I installed in him about the everything that goes on in my life as far as these missions and how the soul works. And I wanted the kids to just kind of pray over me, and so that's what they began to do. But like I said, I did not understand what was going on at the time, and what it was. It was my mother, her higher self, was speaking to my higher self, and I was getting only bits and pieces of a higher understanding, which I did not, gather all at that time. So once it calmed down, I got a phone call from my brother, and because my brother was like 24-hour care, he lived with my mom, made sure that she um, took her medicine, made sure that he checked her sugar, her blood pressure, and all of that other stuff. He was just 24-hour care. He made sure that she was fed, and I stepped in and made sure I took care of like all of the doctor appointments, making sure that she got around to the places that she needed to get to at that time. But my mom, she was suffering from high blood pressure. She was suffering from heart disease. She was diabetic, you know, and she was a wonderful woman, and I couldn't have chose a better mother to bring me into this existence. So I'll get back to the story. So that morning, my brother, he normally called me when he checks her sugar because I always want to know what her sugar levels are at and how she's feeling before I even go to bed. So he told me, but there was something else that was going on, and we didn't gather that all at once. That was the day that my mom was going to leave us, and so I got on the phone with my mom and I asked her how was she doing, and she said, you know, that morning she was okay. She was talking okay. And I said, well, Mom, I know that you wanted, because we had made plans for that day. She wanted to go to see my other brother and sister that had passed away. She wanted to go to the gravesite that day. And we had made plans for that day for her to go and see my brother and my sister that have passed away. I have two brothers that are gone, and I have a sister that is gone. So I said, Mom, don't forget, I'm going to take you to the gravesite so you can see them today. And she said, okay. I said, once I get a little sleep, I'll be over there. So I lay down, and this was probably around 8:30. I lay down, and something woke me up, and I looked at the clock. It was 11:11, and 11:11 was the same time I got the phone call 2 years prior that my sister had passed away. That night at 11:11, I got a phone call that she had passed away, and it didn't dawn on me what that 11:11 was meaning. These was my spirit guides speaking to me, and so I said, well, I'll lay down again, go back to sleep and try to get some more sleep before I go and pick my mother up. And so my brother, he checked her sugar level twice, um, and so he called me around 12, and he told me what my mother's sugar level was at. And so I asked him how was Mom doing, and I told him to put her on the phone so I can speak to her. So when I get on the phone with her, she was like, you know, I need help. And I didn't understand, what she was talking about because she didn't go into full details. And I was like, Mom, uh, what do you need help with? And she didn't really say what she needed help with. And so I said, Mom, put my brother back on the phone so I can, try to understand what she was talking about that she needed help with. And I said, what do Mom need help with? I was talking to my brother at that time, and he was like, well, she's on, she's using the bathroom, and as soon as she finished, I'm going to, you know, put her clothes on, and so we can get ready. And I said, oh, she needed help with, finishing up, in the bathroom and all that other stuff. That's only what I gathered, but it was far more uh, than that. Um, so I told him to put mom back on the phone, and I said, Mom, as soon as you finish, in the bathroom, my brother's gonna, you know, get you ready, so, and then I'll be able to take you over there. My mom knew that day that she was leaving. She knew, and she did not want to tell me exactly what was really going on with her. She knew. She absolutely knew, and my mom was so spiritually inclined, um, that everything was, pretty much lining up for her, but it did not dawn on me. She knew that she was leaving that day. So, I told mom that, I'm getting ready to get up and put my clothes on, and I'll be over and we can go. And so that's what I did. He called me around 12. I was over there by 1. So when my brother bring her outside, in her wheelchair, she began to cry, and I get out of the car, and I go over to her, and I said, Mom, what's wrong? And she didn't really want to tell me. And I said, Mom, are you hurting? She said, no. And I said, Mom, what's wrong? And she said, I don't have long. I'm getting ready to go. And at that time, when she said that, I told my brother to, because her breath had, her breathing had shifted, started, uh, you know, taking deep breaths. And I told my brother when I saw that, to call the ambulance. And so he's on the phone with, the paramedics. And I said, well, let me get her back into her apartment. And I proceed to bring her back into her apartment, and she leaned back and she looked up at me. And it was like instantly I knew what to do at that point, that she was on her way out of here. And so I held her in my arms and I told her, I said, Mom, you did good. I said, I could not ask for a better mother. I said, and it's okay. I said, it's okay. I said, you are still Queen Bee. She loved to be called Queen Bee. And I started asking for the angels, Archangel Michael, and other angels to come down and be by her side. And she was taking deep breaths, and she was looking up at me. And I told my mother, I said, Mom, I said, that light within you go with inside that light. That is your way home. But to make a long story short, my mom passed that very day that she wanted to, that we had made plans for her to go to the gravesite to see my two brothers and sisters. But it came full circle that that day she had planned to go home. That's what she was really saying, that she was going to see them on the other side. And I took it pretty hard. I took it pretty hard. And there would be days that, I really couldn't sleep at all. And I remember falling asleep, and right when I fell asleep, I heard a whisper in my ear, and it was my mother. She said to tell my brother that she wanted to thank him for taking care of her. And I got tears in my eyes, and I said, "Okay, Ma, I'll let him know." And my mom's body was hadn't even been buried yet. She was at the funeral home, hadn't even been buried, and she came to me and she whispered in my ear and told me that. And 2 weeks later, because I have all of these abilities and I'm in tune with the astral realm, um, I went to go see my mother. And when you are grieving over a loved one, you can hold a part of them. They will stay earthbound until you're able to get over it. They will stick around until, because they feel almost guilty of you hurting on that level. They feel really bad and it will hold them here. So when I saw my mother on the other side, this was actually, I'm going to talk about the second time. I'm going to skip the first time I saw her. But the second time I saw my mother, you know, because my mom, she liked to go out before we was born. She liked to go out and have a good time. So she was, dressed up, and she was at this bar, this club, for people her age, you know, nothing like the clubs that we go to in today's life as, young folks. She went back to, like, back in the 60s, you know. She was born in 45, but she went back to how the clubs were back in the 60s. And that's what it looked like. So when I saw her, she said, she said, "Baby, you're gonna have to let me go." And I said, "Okay, Mom." I said, "Okay," because I was holding her back from moving on to her next level. So I said, "Okay, Mom, I, I'll let you go." And she sat back on this couch that was there at this in this club, and she closed her eyes and she smiled, and then I was back in my body again. And it would be a couple of days after that, she came to me and she was in her golden form. You know, she had long hair. Her whole body was just golden. And she was just bright. And she came and gave me a hug. Like she came up behind me and just hugged me. And it was like, you know, she telling me that she loved me and she wanted me to know that she was okay. She was in her highest form from that point on. So just know that, you know, we are spiritual beings and we are here to experience life at its finest. You know, we are here to go through good things, we are here to go through bad things. It is not the end of the world, it is not the end of us. You know, we are extremely powerful beings, and the bodies that we are in is just a vehicle for us to get around in. And we need not to take life so serious that we try to control others. We are here to grow and learn and experience what it's like to be a human being. So I want to dedicate today to all the mothers out there and say that you are loved, you are special, and love yourself. Truly love yourself because you deserve, you are deserving of everything good in life. Of course, you're going to go through bad things. That's a part of experience. But I really wanted to dedicate, you know, those two stories to you guys today. And be happy. And if you lost a parent, lost a child, they're okay. They truly okay. Don't grieving is one thing, okay? And I know that we all are going to grieve, but know 100% that they are okay. And we will see them again. Have fun. Love each other. Have a good day, everybody. Remember what I said. Have fun. Be proud of yourselves. And we are in this together. I love, honor, and respect all of you. Have a good day. And happy Mother's Day.